Does your mind keep talking when your body is already tired before sleep? I wish I hadn't said that. Did they misunderstand me? What if I fail? What if I never build the life I want? Sometimes you get stuck in the past, and sometimes you get lost in a future that hasn't even happened yet. And you think this is just thinking, but sometimes what is happening is not just thinking. Your nervous system may also be reacting to these thoughts. Your heart may start racing, your chest may tighten, your breathing may become shallow, your stomach may tense. Because while your mind is rehearsing a negative possibility in the future, your body may respond as if that future is happening right now. And here is something important. The problem is not that you think about the future. The problem is that your mind keeps rehearsing the future as a place of threat. One of the brain systems that contributes to this is the default mode network. This network becomes more active especially when you are not focused on an external task. For example, in the shower, before sleep, while sitting still, or when your phone is in your hand, but you are not truly focused on anything. Suddenly, your mind goes back to the past. Then it jumps into the future. Then it reopens an old conversation. Then it starts rehearsing a disaster that has not even happened. If this feels familiar, like this video, I'll create more content on the nervous system, the mind, and applied psychology. Subscribe to the channel for more. This system is not bad. In fact, it helps you think about who you are, make meaning of your life, learn from the past, and plan for the future. But when it works without awareness, your mind can turn from a planning system into a space that produces anxiety. Because for the brain, uncertainty is often perceived as a threat. That is why your mind asks, what if something bad happens? What if I can't handle it? What if I go through the same thing again? And while you think you are simply thinking about the future, your body may actually be preparing for a future threat. But here is the hopeful part. If your mind can rehearse negative scenarios again and again, it can also learn to rehearse a safer, more balanced and stronger future. This is not toxic positivity, because simply saying everything will be okay often does not convince the brain. The brain responds more to concrete experiences than abstract affirmations. That is why when you imagine a better future version of yourself, it is not enough to simply say, I will be happier 2 years from now. Instead, you need to give your mind a more concrete scene. How does my future self wake up in the morning? What does my body feel like? How do I speak to myself? What do I no longer react to as intensely? What boundaries do I set more easily? In what areas do I trust myself more? Because mental imagery is not just daydreaming. The brain can record repeated vivid sensory images as a kind of inner experience. This does not mean that everything you imagine will definitely come true, but it does mean that you are giving your brain a new direction. An anxious mind sees the future as a danger zone. Conscious imagery helps you begin to see the future as a space you can prepare for. Now ask yourself one small question. If my more balanced self from 2 years from now asked one small behavior from me today, what would it be? Maybe that version of you would ask you not to check your phone as soon as you wake up. Maybe not to try to please everyone. Maybe to set a clearer boundary with one person. Maybe to speak to yourself more gently. Maybe to take one small step despite fear. Because the brain does not learn the future only by thinking about it. It also learns through repeated small behaviors. Every time you repeat one small behavior, you begin to show your brain, I no longer have to live through my old automatic patterns. This is the foundation of neuroplasticity. Your brain is not fixed. Your thinking patterns, emotional reactions, habits, and relationship with yourself can change over time. But for that to happen, you need to show your brain a new experience again and again. So the point is not just to imagine a beautiful future, the point is to bring one small piece of that future into today. A calmer breath today, a clearer boundary today, a more compassionate sentence toward yourself today, a small step taken despite fear today. Because sometimes the brain does not believe in change through big decisions but through small repeated evidence. If your mind is a time traveler, you do not have to keep sending it to the future you fear. You can consciously send it to a future where you are stronger, calmer, and more connected to yourself. Today, ask yourself, what small behavior from my more balanced future self can I begin today? Because sometimes the direction of your life begins to change, not first outside of you, but in the future your mind keeps rehearsing again and again.